We now return to a town hall meeting, States of Addiction, Fighting the Opioid Epidemic.
Welcome back to a special edition of 13 News at 7. The tiniest victims, the babies born addicted, as some people say, as the drug problem continues to tear apart families in our region. Many babies are coming out of the womb already impacted by drugs, and it's called neonatal abstinence syndrome. Their tiny bodies are born just hours, days old, sometimes shaking with tremors as their bodies literally go through drug withdrawal. Right here in Huntington, hospitals like Cabell Huntington are seeing births of these types of victims at over 25 times the national average. But there is help, and there are a lot of people fighting for these young children. And I have had the opportunity to talk with and interview and work closely with one of those. I like to say you're kind of one of their heroes, Sarah. You not only helped start the neonatal therapeutic unit at Cabell Huntington, but you're also a co-founder of Lily's Place. Tell me a little bit about how this became such a passion for you.
Well, I've been a neonatal nurse for 27 years, and about 6 or 7 years ago, we realized all of our critical care beds at the hospital were being taken by these babies who have special needs, but they're healthy. They're term, they look like they're fine, but they're really not well. They didn't require intensive care beds, but they required special attention. So we talked to the hospital and decided on the day that 22 of our 36 beds were being filled by babies experiencing neonatal abstinence that we would open that unit. And we opened with 12 beds. Our average daily census is 18. We have 8 babies at Lily's Place today, and 5 babies waiting for a bed, and 24 in our unit today. So it's a problem that has only grown over the past 5 years we've been open. We thought that there are some babies that would function better in a quieter environment, away from the hospital, and so we came up with the idea of Lily's Place. And Lily's Place is very much a community, grassroots. It was nothing we did special. The community just came to the baby's rescue, and Lily's Place opened. And we work very closely between the hospital and Lily's Place to provide the best environment we can for these babies.
This is something that's been in the national spotlight as well. We've been to your NTU several times interviewing you and some of the moms there. And one time we were there, you were opening People magazine because they had just recently done a story on Lily's Place in the NTU. And the last time we were there was a photographer from National Geographic there. And one of the things I think a lot of people, we hear 25 times the national average, but part of that is because of the testing that you all do at Cabell Huntington to make sure that babies aren't leaving with NAS.
We do. We test all mothers who come in to deliver, have a urine drug screen, and if the mom is positive, then we send the baby's umbilical cord to find out and confirm that and find out what all the baby's been exposed to. And it's really important. We don't do it to be punitive to the mothers or to the families or anybody, but we want these babies to go home healthy, and we want them to go home safe. And experiencing withdrawal at home for a baby can be very devastating for the family, as a matter of fact. Bad things can happen. We want to educate the moms, give them the equipment, the tools they need that they can take care of their baby, because these babies can experience the effects of withdrawal for 6 months to a year after they go home. We get them through the acute withdrawal, and then we educate the mom so she knows what to do, or the caregiver, and it's not a bad time for them when they go home.
But your passion is helping so many people. And this is something that even online and on social medias, we've been sharing these stories, Patrick. A lot of people are concerned about these young victims.
Yeah, and then what happens, after they return home after getting the treatment that they get. And this is from Patty B on Facebook. And Patty says, I'd like to know what's going to be done to help the upcoming generation of drug-affected children. We help the babies who go through withdrawal at birth, but it doesn't end there. All 3 of the grandchildren we're raising, all born addicted, she says, all affected, are part of that generation. No one talks about the lasting effects of drug alcohol exposure for all the NAS babies.
And are there studies in place now? Are we looking at these children? I know the NTU's been open for 5 years, at 5 years, 10 years, 15 years down.
What we're seeing, of course, everyone knows the long-term effects of alcohol on the fetus because it's been studied for many years. It's very devastating. Drugs, opiates, we don't know a lot yet. There are studies going on and studies have been done. What we've seen and what I've heard from the people that birth to 3, for one thing, that these children, a lot of them, especially, I have to mention marijuana. It's not just marijuana. And in kindergarten, they show aggressive behavior. They don't function well in a group setting. So those are things that if there's plenty of education, that can be addressed behaviorally and not put them on ADD medicine when they don't need it. Most of it's behavioral things. But another thing is that everything a mother puts in her body when she's pregnant affects the fetus. Vitamins help, iron helps, good nutrition helps, and drugs hurt. And marijuana, I just have to say, marijuana has probably more lasting effects on the fetus than any of the other drugs. And environment plays a huge role.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Well, we continue next on our special edition of 13 News at 7. We want to talk about healing and a look at the different ways that families struggle with addiction, but we also want to talk about how they're keeping hope alive. Stay with us.
Something just as small as my mom gave me this expensive ring, and knowing that I'll always have that and I'm not going to take it to go pawn. I mean, that's a really good feeling.
We will return to a town hall meeting, States of Addiction, Fighting the Opioid Epidemic.